to the Spirit Podcast.
Welcome, traveler. This is Beck, and tonight we're going to talk about collapse. Not the kind Hollywood sells you in a doomsday montage, not aliens in the sky or zombies on your doorstep, but the quiet collapse, the one that's already happening, the kind that looks like scrolling, like forgetting what day it is, like institutions losing meaning, like truth becoming optional. You feel it, don't you? That sense that something's wrong, not in some far-off future, but now. That the world as we knew it doesn't work anymore. And maybe it never did. But this isn't just about unraveling. It's about what comes after, when the dust settles, when the screens go dark, when the noise fades. What remains? What matters? And what are we going to build next? Because collapse isn't the end. Sometimes it's a clearing. Tonight, in this Truth and Fire transmission, we'll walk through the systems that failed us, the trust that was broken, the digital spell we've been under, and the sacred path to rebuilding something real, not perfect, not utopian, but true. So light your lantern, ground yourself, and let's begin. Let's begin where most of us started noticing the cracks. The systems, media, education, healthcare, governments, even spirituality, now merchandised and algorithmic. These were the pillars we were told to trust. But one by one, the masks slipped, and we began to see them for what they really were: engines of control, profit, and illusion. Take the media. It once claimed to inform, but now it churns attention, fear, and outrage, all to sell you a story or a pill during the break. Truth is no longer the goal. Engagement is. And in the name of trust, they broke it. We learned to read between the headlines, to question the narrative, to feel the chill behind the script, and we weren't wrong. Then there's the medical industrial complex. Yes, they are good healers, brave ones. But the system? It was never designed to keep you well. It was designed to keep you dependent. Quick fixes, long prescriptions, and no room for spirit, intuition, or root cause. Preventative care became a punchline. Natural healing became misinformation, and those who asked deeper questions were silenced. Education told us how to think, but not what to think about. It pruned imagination, reinforced hierarchies, and in many cases prepared us to become loyal workers, not whole beings. Even science, once the domain of open inquiry, became political, performative, and rigid. No longer about the why, but the funding. What happens when all the systems we were taught to rely on begin to fracture? You get this moment. A generation unmoored. An age of quiet collapse. Not a single explosion, but 1,000 tiny cracks, widening. And for those with eyes to see, it's not just disorienting, it's liberating. When the systems falter, the next thing to break is trust, not just in institutions, but in each other, neighbors, friends, even family. People started looking at one another sideways, whispers of, "Did you hear what they believe now?" Lines drawn over choices, echo chambers fortified with emotion instead of truth. And behind it all was fear. The kind of fear that says, if I admit I was wrong, what else might unveil? If I question what I've always believed, who am I without it? So we dug trenches. We built social media moats, and slowly the bridge between us burned. And this didn't happen by accident. Trust wasn't just broken, it was engineered by narratives meant to divide, by algorithms that feed our worst instincts, by influencers and figureheads who traded nuance for virality. And we fell for it because we were tired and lonely and desperate to feel right about something. But the cost was our commons. We lost the sacred ground where disagreement could live alongside love, where conviction didn't require exile, where being human didn't mean being branded, and once trust fractures, everything else becomes brittle. Now, we walk in a world where nobody trusts the full picture, and maybe that's okay, because blind trust isn't strength, discernment is. But here's the truth. Without some form of earned trust, we can't rebuild anything. Not a family, not a future, not a flame that can last. So, this is the reckoning of our time, to learn the difference between blind loyalty and soul-deep discernment, to stop outsourcing our knowing and to begin again with the truth. Let's talk about the screen, the veil of light we stare into every day, the one that promised us connection but gave us performance, that offered us information but drained our attention. We scroll past death and memes in the same breath. War, then a cat video. A warning, then a dance challenge. And the soul can't tell the difference anymore. This is not just distraction. It's meaning collapse. A fog that rolls in when everything feels the same weight. Tragedy, truth, trend, trauma, flattened into pixels. It's no wonder we're numb, overstimulated, undernourished, and beneath it all, spiritually starved. We used to look at the sky for signs. Now we check our notifications. We used to gather around a fire to tell stories that taught us who we were. Now we go viral for how well we'll mock each other. We used to remember. Now the cloud does it for us. But the cloud has no soul. And let's be clear. Digital tools aren't evil, but they became gods. We gave them our attention, our data, our thoughts, our voices, and now they echo us back, distorted, filtered, packaged for clicks. Even spirituality is marketed now. Ascension algorithms, AI tarot, preachers with ring lights, and underneath it, silence. Not the holy kind, the hollow kind. The kind that says, this isn't real, because somewhere you know this isn't how it was meant to be. If you're still with me, then you're probably one of those people, the ones who sense the current beneath the noise. So here's something you should know. Every Friday, I drop a video-only series called The Beyond Files right here on YouTube. It's strange, funny, and full of clips I'm not supposed to be showing you. And for the ones walking a deeper path, there's the Signal Path. It's a $5 audio tier only on Coffee. Just you and me. No visuals, no distractions, just the truth as it comes through. And if that's calling you, the link's waiting in the description below. Meaning isn't something you consume. It's something you participate in. But to reclaim it, we must first step back from the glowing veil and walk into the dark. Not to be afraid, but to see again. So the towers have fallen. The noise has thinned. The veil has burned at the edges. Now we're standing in the rubble. And the question becomes, what do we carry forward and what do we leave behind? Not everything old is broken, and not everything new is wise. Discernment isn't about burning it all down. It's about remembering what's true beneath the rot and the ruin. Some traditions were maps. Some were cages. And we must learn the difference. We don't need to resurrect the old systems. We need to build new roots, smaller communities, local food, sacred economies, real conversations that aren't mediated by screens. education that teaches how to think, not what to repeat. We're not going back to the woods to live like monks, unless that's your calling, but we are being called to simplify and honor reality again. Rebuilding doesn't mean waiting for someone else to fix it. It means turning your own light back on, learning a skill, supporting your neighbor, creating instead of consuming, asking deeper questions even when they don't trend, and most of all, remembering that you're not powerless, because that's the spell they cast, wasn't it? That you're too small to matter, too broken to rise, too late to change. Lies. This next world doesn't belong to the loudest. It belongs to the willing, those who can look at the ashes and still see a garden underneath, those who can hold sorrow and vision in the same breath, and those who know not all collapse is death. Some of it is clearing. After collapse and through the clearing comes a strange and holy moment, the moment the real comes back into focus. Not flashy, not loud, but undeniable. The feel of soil in your hands, the warmth of a real voice, the rhythm of your own breath, not optimized, not tracked, just yours. These are the things we forgot, but they never forgot us. There is a return happening to gut instinct, to ancestral knowing, to the rhythm of natural life, not artificial schedules. People are remembering how to grow things again, how to pray without needing a stage, how to touch the divine without posting about it. And it's awkward at first because we've been digitally domesticated. But you'll notice the more real you let your life become, the more magic begins to return. Synchronicity, signs, the right people showing up, old truths whispering from the woods, dreams that feel like instructions instead of noise. This is the signal that you're back in resonance, that your life is becoming sacred again, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. We don't need a new system. We need a new relationship to reality, one that honors mystery, serves truth, and chooses soul over spectacle. You're not just a user, not a consumer, not a data point. You're a keeper of the flame. And when enough of us remember that, the new world doesn't need to be voted in. It emerges. So here we are, not at the end, but at the edge of a world we outgrew, the edge of illusions we no longer need, the edge of systems that mistook control for care and forgot the soul in all of it. But the soul remembers, and that's why you're here. You are not crazy for feeling like everything is unraveling. It is. But unraveling isn't the same as ending. It's how we pull the thread to find what's real beneath the pattern. We were never meant to live like this, disconnected, digitized, distracted. But the moment you notice the wrongness, that's the moment you begin to return to yourself, to meaning, to what actually matters. Collapse is messy, grief-soaked, and holy. It asks everything of you, and in return, it gives you back your life. Not the one sold to you, the one you chose, the one you remember, the one you were meant to carry forward. So if you've been feeling like it's all coming undone, you're not alone. You're just waking up in the rubble with the match still in your hand. And maybe it's not your job to fix everything. Maybe it's your job to light one small fire where truth can sit without flinching, where trust can return without fear, where meaning can breathe again. The system is falling, but the soul is rising. And from that, a new world will come, not built by power, but by flame keepers like you.